It's not the same because in the time that I grew up, we had great respect for the parents.
So that was the biggest question.
So
what is the difference there?
There was a difference. There was quite a bit of respect in the neighborhood. Anyone could tell your parents on you. So it wasn't so you couldn't get away with a lot of things without the cover of night, so to speak. So
strong parenting.
Strong parenting and morals in society were quite a bit different than what they are today. Today it's acceptable for a 9-year-old to be out in the street, whereas back then it was not acceptable. Usually when the street lights went out,
everybody was home.
What's crazy is today it's acceptable to not tell the parents about their children. When you talk about like things like abortion and all these things where it's getting set up, where it's like the doctor's like, yeah, I won't tell your parents that you're going to get an abortion. I won't tell your parents that you're like 16, 14, 15 and you're pregnant. I won't tell your parents about all these things. So it's actually really interesting, that change now. And then the same thing where now they're even talking about like setting up the spaces in schools. So it's like, oh, well, children, they want to transition or whatever the things are, and they can go to their schools and they can, and the teachers don't have to tell the parents, and they're going to hide it from the parents and trying to paint like the parents as being bad and evil. And like, oh, if we tell the parents, they're going to come in there and they're going to like hurt these children or whatever. And, they're going to hurt them by trying to instill these things in them. So we create these, whatever, sort of safe spaces or whatever. And it's been a big area of contention because parents are going like, you don't get to do that, like legally. Right. I have the rights over this child. I'm the provider. I'm the guardian of this child. You don't get to just like start deciding what's best for them and start setting up all these things so that I don't know what they're doing in their life, and they can come and tell you like, hey, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to get involved in this. And you can push things on them and help them in making decisions that they don't have legally the right. That's part of their argument, the right to make, but not even just legally. Like it's just not right for them to make. And then the system's kind of being turned and set up in that way.
The educational system has quite a big problem on their hands. A little bit, as you mentioned earlier, actually. Both parents are out working, just like mine were, atypically. But what that has done is left, of course, less parenting for most of the children today, quite different than in the past. Again, my parents were out, but we had more of a community, so to speak. Community programs, a lot of those have been canceled for the youth today because of other problems with drugs and so forth. But back when I was a child, those things didn't exist. Those problems didn't exist in a major way. You could go to a basketball court and you didn't have to worry about drug deals and gunshots. But the school system, the educational system, has to deal with children that have grown up without the parents. So they do have to try to figure out what is best for the children to a degree.
Yeah.
So I'm quite sure they're under quite a bit of weight. I'm not trying to defend them, but I would think it'd be a very interesting challenge. So what do you do with this child that you're trying to educate, but yet you can tell by the way that the child comes to school, they're not prepared for school. They're might not speak as well or write as well as the average child. I think that's quite a challenge for the educational system.
Listen, guys, we're doing great things here at the Lamplight Productions. And you can be a part of it for the low price of $0.00. Because all you got to do is subscribe. Ring the bell, ding dong, you can't go wrong. Or don't. It's a free country. Do whatever you want. Though I don't know how you can live with yourself.